Ross, okay. After Steve, Ross.
Firstly, I'd like to congratulate the British and Irish Lions for drawing the series. It's been a fantastic three-match series. Both teams have played their hearts out, and it's come down to the wire, and we've ended up with a hand on the trophy each, which is a little bit like kissing your sister. There's not a lot in it for anybody, but at the same time, I think it's been a wonderful advertisement for rugby, the rugby that was played by both sides. I'd also want to say how proud I am of our own team. I think there's been a little bit of controversy, or not controversy, but we've had a few things go not our way with injuries and stuff like that, and we haven't quibbled about it. Boys have got on and worked hard, played hard, and gave ourselves a big chance tonight, and probably didn't score the points when we created the opportunity. So something for us to look back on. We always said that we would come out of this series learning more about ourselves and growing as a team, so we'll do that. I'll congratulate both sets of fans. I think hopefully the British and Irish Lions fans have travelled around the country and really enjoyed their time, and hopefully the Kiwis have made them feel at home, and maybe they'll go back and talk about New Zealand and send more people over here for visits. I know you all want to talk about the last 3 minutes of the Test match, so we'll get there first. It's a tough game to ref, and we all know what happened, and we all know probably what should have happened, but at the end of the day, it's a game, and as little kids we're taught to take the good with the bad, and we have to do that. And that's all I want to talk about. So if you ask me questions about that, I'm probably not going to go there. So we're accepting of whatever the decisions were made, whether we agree with them or not is something that we'll do our talking to the referees about. But so there, thank you. We're open for questions.
Yep, Ross on the left.
Hey, well, you just stole my thunder there, I suppose. But my question, I'm going to ask you about it anyway. What is your understanding of that law? I think it's 11.6.
Well, I think you've already got the law, so have you read it?
Yeah, I have. So
what does it say?
So it says if you're in front, you're accidentally offside if you try to catch it.
If you're in front, or you actually... So you understand what the law is.
Yeah.
So there's no point asking me. I told you I'm not going to talk about it, guys. It's a decision that the refs made, and we'll live with it.
Okay. Well, you mentioned your opportunities. There was a few left out there tonight. Why do you think that is? Why do you think the team's not quite getting those passes and getting those knock-ons?
I think that's a tribute to the way the Lions are playing. Like, their defence is built around, being right on the edge, and they come with a lot of line speed, and we didn't cope with it in the manner that you normally would. So plus there's a lot of pressure, and it's a young backline. I mean, I'd have liked someone to put their hand up and say they could have picked the team at the beginning of the series. That would be the backline we'd put out on the park. So you're going to have nights where things don't go your way, and what I'm proud of is the way that the guy on my right here put the plan together, and the way that we went about executing it. We just didn't finalise it. Again, you've got to give a lot of credit to the British and Irish Lions for that.
Jim on the left.
Kieran, would you, in a situation like tonight, prefer to see extra time or anything like that so you actually get a result? You said it was a bitter pill to swallow with a draw. Would you like to see some capacity for a result?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It's one of those ones. I guess it's a 3-match series. There is 3 matches, so it's pretty. I guess I don't know in history if there's been many drawn series over three matches. I don't know, Jim. So it's probably rare, and I think you've just got to look at that as a fair result of 2 teams who went pretty hard, and potentially it was the right result if you look back on it. Probably split the decision.
Yep, Nigel on the right.
Steve, the referee had the option to choose from Rule 11.1, 11.6, A or B, 11.7. You have called repeatedly for the law book to be looked at, overhauled and streamlined. Is this a classic example that should be the reason why?
Yeah. I'm trying to do my best not to talk about this, but, like go back to the World Cup and the same thing happened and Scotland missed out on the World Cup because they didn't use the video, and so this time they used the video and then they had a powwow, and what would have been good, just play on and we would have scored under the post. That would have been okay. Well, I'd like that, but we didn't, and his initial instincts were that it was a penalty, and then he spoke to his team of three, and one of them suggested it was accidental. So again, it is what it is. It's happened, and we can't change that. If we'd have scored another try ourselves, then we wouldn't be having this major discussion. It wouldn't have been such a big problem. So we'll look at the things we should have done, and we can control. We can't control the refs, and I've said right from day one that we wouldn't be talking publicly about how we feel about them.
But my question was, you said about streamlining the rule book before. I've heard you talk about this for at least 2-3 years now.
Yeah. Well, it's either offside or it isn't offside, and if we all know it's offside, then it's offside. You're right. There's too many avenues that you can go down, but that's not the ref's fault either. That's the rule book, and the people that are running the game need to ask themselves, do we need to make it simpler? And my answer to that would be yes.
But the changeover at 2019, after the 2019 World Cup to that new calendar, do you think that would be an opportune moment?
Well, tomorrow would be great.
Who's got the next question? Yep, here on the left.
Steve, you saw Alan Wynne-Jones come back on after taking a fairly big whack to the head, and obviously you've taken an approach of looking after players that have taken blows to the head. What's your understanding of if he was allowed back on and if he actually went through an HIA?
Well, I don't know if he went through an HIA. He should have done, I suppose, because it was shown on the screen. So you have to ask the team doctor, the medical doctor for the game. I'm not sure if he did. If he did an HRA, he's obviously passed it, so he's allowed to come back on. I'd assume he would have.
He appeared to not go down the tunnel. He just went and sat straight on the bench, which...
Again, you're asking the wrong bloke. The medical doctor's the guy to ask.
Who's got the next question? John Day on the right, there's Steve.
Just Kieran, what are your emotions like after 100th test, but a lot happened in it? Just how are you feeling right now?
Steve summed it up pretty nicely with the way he put it. But it's a bit of a hollow feeling, I guess. A draw. We don't turn up on a Saturday and want to draw, want to lose. We want to go out there and win. And so it feels a little bit that way. I think, looking back, we'll look back on the series and, yep, draw's better than a loss. But, right now it's mixed. Yeah, I'm proud of making 100 tests, but I'd probably swap all of them for a win, to be honest. So just the way it goes.
Just on that, I think, for a bloke to play 100 test matches for any country is amazing, and we haven't had too many do it in New Zealand, and to get one game is magnificent, but to get 100 and play as well as this guy has, and he's become a real warrior and a great leader for the team. So publicly we would like to congratulate him. It doesn't matter about the result when you start talking about his 100 games. He thoroughly deserved every one of his test matches, and he's added to the legacy and will continue to do so over some more time.
Yep, Mark on the right.
Steve and probably Ian to get you to weigh in as well. Steve, there was a lot of obviously interest in the two guys you picked to start their first test, Nani and Geordie. What did you make of their performance under really trying circumstances, just from both you guys?
I'll let Foz go first. He hasn't had a question from the last test match, so he's batting 2-0 at the moment, so away you go, son.
Appreciate that, mate. It's look, I personally think they should be very proud of what they did. Nani has really been quite impressive since he's come in. and the way he's gone about his game and learning, like there was a bit of criticism about he's just had one strength with his ball carry, but today we saw a nice little kick in behind, an offload for a try, so he's adding some things all the time and learning a lot, so he should be pretty proud of his effort, and he would have learned a lot from starting his Test career in such an intense sort of environment. And Geordie looked really composed, I thought. He did what he did really well, the high ball stuff, he covered well, and probably he just loves things happen around him, and we saw that again when he'd catch balls and break through lines and set some things up, so it bodes well for those guys for the future.
Steve, do you want to add anything? Or
No, I thought he summed that up perfectly.
who's got the next question? Yep, in the front, please, Jed, with Alex.
Steve, before this series or at any time, have you discussed the possibility of what would happen if it finishes a draw in terms of trying to move it on from the draw?
No, it wasn't. No. Simple answer.
And would you like to think that going forward that this wouldn't be repeated?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I'd like us to think that we could win it 3-0 or they could win it 2-1 or what. But look, is that if it comes down to it, and everyone's a bit hollow today because of, I think, the last couple of minutes, 3 minutes, but some really good rugby played over the three Test matches, and maybe a drawn series was fair. We played well in the first one, they played well in the second one, and we probably did enough to win it, but they hung in, so deserved to hang in, and got a couple of breaks and some magnificent goal kicking, like one of them was from 60 metres out. So rugby's always had a draw, and it's not a World Cup final, so it is a 3-match series. So my own belief is probably leave it the way it is, and if you're good enough to get a drawn series, then both teams deserve the credit that will come for that.
Are we done? Oh, we're in the front.
Just one more. How much do you miss Dane Coles in this series?
Oh, no, he's with us all the time, so we don't miss him too much.
On the field.
Sorry for being silly there. Look, when you lose, good players like himself, Ben Smith, even Crotts and who we lost after the first Test, and then Sonny through suspension. They're hard players to lose. But the thing you have to say to yourself, well, can you change it? And we couldn't. We couldn't change that Dane wasn't playing. So the thing then is to look at the opportunity. So the opportunity has been to give Cody Taylor a lot of game time. And now what I do know is when Colsey comes back, we've got another young man who's got a lot of self-belief and understanding that he can do the job. Nathan Harris has been given some time as well. We've got 2 midfield backs in Albie and Nani who've come into the team now. They'll put pressure on Ryan and Sonny. So, Geordie is another one because of Bender. So you just got to look at the opportunity it creates for other people and what are the positive spins of that. And, there was plenty of positives. So, yeah, we missed him. Of course we missed him. He's a world-class player. But he was out, and we knew he was going to be out. So we can't look for any excuses. There's none.
Sorry, we have to wrap it up there because we've got the lines waiting. So thanks, everyone. We'll have players in the mix zone shortly. Cheers.
Thanks, guys, and travel safe home, all you UK boys.